Dun 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 dun. Super Mario Moonshine.
Wow, I didn't know Mario was from Tennessee instead of Italy. What is he gonna say now? Yeehaw! Heh But yeah,
Nah, he'd probably be too passed out to say any of that.
here's your peppermint. So in this video, we're gonna be talking about the sequel to Super Mario Sunshine, Super Mario Moonshine, which has Mario in an alternate reality making moonshine a basement in Tennessee. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
We're gonna
sounds
follow up
great.
the next or the last video where we talked about how we think a Super Mario 64 remaster could play out by talking about the sequel, Super Mario Sunshine. Now, I don't know how you feel about the game, but I think that Super Mario Sunshine is a 3D Mario game that needs to be remastered the most. There is so much going for Sunshine, but there are a few problems that set it back from being as great as it could have been, but we'll definitely get into that. But Sunshine Remaster has been something fans have been wanting ever since the Wii U era, and I think if this is actually happening now, we want to make a video about it and discuss what we want from it, what we think it'll be, and how to address some of the problems it had. So before we get into that, how about we talk about some of our experiences with Super Mario Sunshine?
Um, s- I guess my experience with Sunshine starts probably early middle school, late elementary school. Uh, I remember I asked my dad to get it for me from GameStop, and they had it for about 15 bucks, I believe. Believe it or not, GameCube games were pretty cheap back then.
Oh,
Um,
I remember.
yeah, and so I got it. I didn't really like it that much. I'm not sure why. I can't really remember. But then, as of recent, I think probably 2 years ago, you told me to replay it, and begrudgingly I did, and I'm kind of glad I did because I kind of love the game now. That's not to say that the game doesn't have problems. The controls definitely can use some tightening up in some spaces. Blue coins are, of course, are an issue. That pachinko mini game is, oh boy, we don't even need to get into that. But regardless, I had a blast, and I loved playing the game through and through. It felt, it didn't feel. I guess it didn't. I guess what a lot of people feel like is that it's not like a straight up Mario 64 sequel. But I kind of have to disagree. I think it is. I mean, it could be considered its own thing, but it's very much in the same vein as 64. It just has some added mechanics.
Yeah, I can agree with you there. And my experience was pretty similar. I remember when I got Sunshine, it was when GameStop was clearing out their inventory of GameCube games, and you could still get most GameCube games for cheap. So I got Luigi's Mansion and Super Mario Sunshine on the same day. I remember enjoying Super Mario Sunshine, but at the time it was very hard. But I did eventually get down to beating the game. I believe it was around the time you beat the game too, because I remember recommending it to you after Super Mario Odyssey got its formal reveal in 2017. So I think we were playing all the 3D Mario games gearing up for that, or at least I was. And with Sunshine, yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with you. It's very similar to Super Mario 64. It expands upon it. It has a flood mechanic, and really, the whole vacation theme is just excellent. And we could talk about how great
hmm
Sunshine is for a little while because I'm just gonna say it. Even though Sunshine has some critical flaws, it's still one of my favorite Mario games because it went all out with the vacation theme. It was something completely foreign to Mario games, and whenever they do something unique and crazy like that, I'm all for it. And they went all out with it here. All the locations feel perfect for the kind of resort setting that Isle Delfino is. It has the best hub world out of any 3D Mario game where it's really its own level itself. And really, with
hmm
Sunshine, the flood mechanics, that was kind of controversial when it came out. But I gotta say, I really love Flood. Any time where Mario has a companion of some sort, whether it be Flood or Cappy, or even Luma, I think that always enhances the gameplay. Kind of feel the same way?
Yeah, I never I never disliked Flood. Like some people out there who do. I'm not entirely sure why Flood is so disliked. I thought he was pretty straightforward. I think what he just adds is just a little bit more variety, such as, the hover ability. Um, it's just more to Mario's actual repertoire. And like I said, I think with some tightening of the controls, of course, fixing the camera too, I think the game might be as loved as we regard it. But Mario Sunshine over the years has grown to be a cult classic. I feel. I don't think it's ever been considered one of the best 3D Mario games. It has kind of a polarizing opinion online, but I do think it has a cult following that's been growing for years.
It seems that people either love it or they hate it. I've never really noticed an in-between for that game.
Yeah, I agree. It's so strange.
Yeah, with a lot of 3D Mario games. I mean, some people say things like, I like the more open world Mario games compared to the linear ones, usually referring to 64 and maybe even Odyssey, and Sunshine
Right.
sometimes. But with Sunshine, people either love it or they hate it. I'm in the group that loves it. But even with that being said, Sunshine does have some problems that really need to be fixed. But anyways, what would you like to see from the remake? Or remaster, whatever they're
Um,
called? Because when we're
well,
referring to this, we're referring
mhm.
to a style of remaster in the vein of Crash Insane Trilogy or Spyro Reignited Trilogy. Not a sequel, not something like Super Mario 64 DS, but something that improves the experience, be it the graphics and sound, and maybe some quality of life updates.
Um, so if we're going by that logic, uh, I'm not entirely sure. I love Sunshine a lot, but I don't really have I don't have a nostalgic bias towards it like I do with Mario 64. I do love the game though. So I'm not sure. Uh, I think the main things for me, because I think Sunshine's already a beautiful looking game. I think if you run it on Dolphin, you could truly see how it could look in 1080p or 4K with high res textures and um, HD resolution. I think it could look like a really beautiful game. Um, would what I would like is a better camera. I said this was 64. That camera is terrible. It gets stuck on buildings. I feel like even more so than 64. Um, Maybe that's just me when I'm playing it, but I don't know. Maybe again tighten the controls a little bit more. I'd say maybe even if they are doing the remaster treatment, which means in my terms remake. I guess you know build it from the ground up. My main question is whether or not you know if they change graphics in game, does that mean they redo the cutscenes as well?
I think they're going to kind of have to because the cutscenes were a little bit different because they weren't using in game models. It looked like they were using some sort of CG at the time because if you look at the cutscenes rezzed up, they look terrible compared to the rest of the game. But it's funny that you mentioned that
Yeah.
because I was playing Sunshine on Dolphin the other day, and while the game does look really beautiful in 4K or 1080p or even 720p, there's still a
Hmm.
lot with Sunshine that there is improvement for. We're going to do a
Oh,
little
for
bit of
sure.
spoilers here. Galaxy and Galaxy 2 are going to be the hardest games to think of how you could improve them just because of how good they look still nearly 10 years later for Galaxy 2. But with
Yeah.
Sunshine, the game was presented in a 4:3 aspect ratio, so they're going to have to
Hmm.
make it widescreen. And this is the same for Super Mario 64. So that's kind of a given
Hmm.
right there. But also,
Yeah.
really, just improving some of the textures for the buildings, the grass, the hills, making the
Hmm.
models a little more high resolution, maybe having some of the
Right.
models look more like the characters do today, but looking at the gameplay of Sunshine, that's not really a problem because the characters look very, very, very similar to how they look today. But with Super Mario
Hmm.
64, I said I would like to see the Odyssey style, but with Sunshine, I think it could work
Hmm.
too. But really, when I mean the Odyssey style, It's just having a Mario
Yeah.
model that looks kind of realistic, but also remaining cartoony at the same time. It's not like Brawl where they went for the completely denim overalls and the gritty look. No, he still looks cartoony and everything, but a little bit of realism doesn't hurt. I think that's actually a good thing.
Uh, you know me. I'm not really a fan of the Odyssey style being used for all the remasters. Just because I feel like each of them have a distinct feel from each other. If they do end up doing that, I'll be fine with it. But honestly, if they do that, it kind of makes me feel like it's an extension of Odyssey to an extent. Um, I don't know, because Odyssey's art style reflects the game it comes from. And I know that they're drawing Mario now with more realistic hair and different overalls and stuff like that. But let's not forget that it all came from Odyssey itself. They gave Mario those realistic textures because he was going to somewhere like New Donk City, where he would have to contrast with these, realistic humans and stuff like that.
You know what's really
I don't
weird
know.
though?
I've what?
It seems that Nintendo is kind of split on what art style to use for Mario. Because I noticed with a lot of games, they're
Hmm.
still using that plasticky art style. And to be completely truthful with you,
Yeah.
I don't like it. I really don't like the
Oh, I
plasticky
don't.
art style.
Oh, I don't like it either, but I feel like there's other options to go with for 64 and Sunshine art style wise. I really think they could get creative with the art style and go all in with it. I'm not saying they have to go back to the plasticky looking art style. I'm not saying they have to go full on Odyssey. I'm just saying as long as it looks good and as long as it respects the originals, I'm fine with it. I just honestly don't want it to look exactly like Odyssey. Because Mario All Stars didn't really do that. If you remember, Mario All Stars actually made Mario 1 from scratch. I'm assuming in the Mario World engine. And they respected the original game. I wouldn't say to a T, but they had Mario in red overalls, so that's that's paying attention to detail right there.
Right.
So something like that, I would assume for all the games across the board. So each of them would have their own distinct look and style, while looking fairly modern in today's context. So that's kind of what I want. But I understand where you're coming from.
So keeping that cartoony look of Sunshine, the bright colors, vibrant atmospheres, but with a little touch of realism, that's what I want to see. And to be truthful with you,
I,
that's what I think
mhm.
Nintendo's going to do. Because with a lot of these remasters, all they really need to do is just update the models, have better textures and stuff, and you're good to go. And Sunshine's already a great looking game, so really there's not much I
Mhm.
can say bad about the visual presentation of it, but I want to see where
Right.
you come from first before we get into the next point, which is perhaps the biggest when it comes to Sunshine Remaster.
Hmm. Um, I don't know if there's anything left to say per se. I guess one idea I did have was maybe a little bit of a cel shaded look, but I'm still kind of on the fence about that idea. I don't think they would go for it,
I think
and I
that's
don't
more
know
of a
if it would
Zelda thing,
ruin.
though.
Yeah, I didn't want like a full on cel shaded look. I just kind of wanted a touch of it, but I don't know. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough with Sunshine again because I'm not as invested in it as say you are. I'm a little bit more invested in 64 while I still love Sunshine, right? But I don't know. Maybe I would say like bring up the more vibrant beachy summer vibe up with it and reflect it off of the graphics. I don't know.
I think the thing is,
I th
though, with a
Yeah.
game like Sunshine, and as the games get newer, it's hard to think of how they could really improve the graphical style other than model or having better models and better textures because the
Yeah.
game already looks good. It has a great presentation, it has a great theme. It's a great looking game still. Even if you're going to
Oh
play it on
yeah.
the Wii with component cables, it still looks great. Yes,
Yeah.
they could make it look
I
better.
think
And that's really all I got to say about the visual presentation. But the problems with Sunshine come with this major issue. The blue coin
Mhm.
problem in Sunshine it's what really sets it back from being perfect. They wanted to go for 120 stars just like or shines since Super Mario 64 did, and the way they did this was with the blue coins. Now these blue coins are terrible. For one, they're really hard to get. It's annoying to get a lot of them. You have to spread out a certain shape and then you have to go somewhere fast, so that's pretty annoying. And you have to get 10 of them to get one shine sprite. That right there is tedious. So do you think they're going to correct the blue coin problem by introducing some new islands to fix the problem? Because if they have some new islands in the game where the stars you get from the blue coins are there instead, that'd be great, and the game would be so much better.
I agree. I'm not sure to what extent they'll go with it though. I don't know. I guess what they could do, because I feel like the blue coins are already kind of integral to 100%ing the game. Get what I mean? Um, they could like you could still collect the blue coins, but instead of getting a postcard at the end,
Yeah.
uh, you can you could unlock the two islands that you have left. I think that would be a better reward, but yeah, I think that's kind of self-explanatory, to be honest. Just give us two more islands. Like we could spend the blue coins on the new islands. I think that makes the most sense, no?
Now I like your idea, but I think it would be better to get rid of the blue coins entirely, have some extra islands, and have the reward at the end of the game be playable Luigi. So Super Luigi Sunshine. I know it's kind of wishful thinking, but do you think something like that could happen or no?
Um, I mean, I don't know. I could see Luigi making an appearance or a cameo, stuff like that. I'm not sure if I see Luigi being playable per se. Um, but maybe I could see maybe like a Luigi's Mansion style island there, or maybe Luigi being kidnapped by someone, right? I don't know. I don't know. I feel like most likely it'll be kind of like a Galaxy situation where like uh you just kind of see him in levels and you help him out with like certain shine sprites.
Yeah, but he did end up becoming playable at the end of the game. But I do see where you're coming from. So I'm gonna say it's like 50-50 on having Luigi be a reward at the end of the game. Because if they fix the blue coin problem and they added in some extra islands and playable Luigi, the game would be perfect. But there is one other issue I'd like to touch on. So you know how Sunshine you
Hmm.
had to complete all the shines in order?
Yes.
You think they're gonna abolish that and also have 100 coins in every mission? Because that was a problem. Because if you were going for 100 coins or trying to find a secret area, the problem with that was that a lot of levels it didn't have 100 coins exactly, so you'd waste your time. And same goes for the secret mission.
Right. I just um I'm sorry, can you repeat that one more time?
So do you think they're gonna have the mission structure be similar to Super Mario 64 where you can really play any of them at any time? Or they're gonna be linear still? Because it caused some problems when you're trying to get some of the post-game shine sprites, like the 100 coin one.
Oh.
Some levels didn't have 100
Um
coins or some missions didn't, so you'd be wasting your time there. So do you think they're gonna fix that issue or?
that's maybe it's kind of tough though because some levels are very specific, like some things will appear and then some things won't. Um I
Isn't
don't
that kind of
know.
how it was with 64 though, or where you had like Koopa the
Uh
Quick in one mission?
yeah, that's true. They could. I don't see any problem with that. I think it's up to Nintendo for them to notice, because um I feel like if we notice it, then they'll notice it for sure as well. Um, yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts on it, though?
I think that'd be great if they changed up the mission structure a little bit because I don't really like how all of them are linear. where you have to play them all in order. And I think the game could still work if they switch that up. But if they're going to do all these changes, I think they're probably going to have an original mode, which is the exact same concept of the original, blue coins and all. And then there's going to be the new
Mhm.
mode, which has all the improvements.
I think that would be a great idea. I just feel like regarding things like the blue coins, I don't know if it's possible to take them out entirely from the game, just because a large portion of your star count comes from there. I don't know. Well, maybe they could take it out and they could just give you two new islands and the rest of the stars you get, the shine sprites you get from there. Yeah, that'd be cool. I think Nintendo understands how much people hate the blue coins.
Yeah, and I just looked it up. There are 240 of them. So it'd be great to
So
see
that's
them gone.
about, yeah, that's insane.
Let me divide this by how
That's
many? 10.
24
Yeah,
shine sprites, I
24.
think. So that's about 8, 16, 24. That's about three new islands. I'm sorry, no, not three new islands. 7, 14, 20. Are there seven shine sprites or eight shine sprites per level?
There are 8, I think.
Oh, okay, 8, 16, 24. Well, there's seven missions and then the 100 coin challenge. So that's about three islands right there. They could add three more islands instead.
Yeah, I think they could do that. And really, if they fix all those problems, we're set for a pretty good remaster, I think.
Yeah, I think really 64 and Sunshine are the ones that really need the remaster treatment because it's been a while and there's a bunch of quality of life updates I think both games need.
Yeah, they definitely could have some improvements, and that's why I think when we're talking about the older games, there's really a lot more to talk about. Because with Sunshine, there was a problem with the blue coins and just some stuff like that. And with 64, it's just an older game. But yeah, I
Right.
think that about wraps it up. I'm Demeet,
And I'm Ty the Guy.
and keep calm and Dada on.